coach of both Arman Tsarukyan and Renato Moicano. Coach, just how are you feeling right now? It's probably been a whirlwind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster of emotions. You know, you feel really, happy for Moicano, having the opportunity of his life, but you also feel really upset and sad that something like that happens to Arman, who was an amazing, who is an amazing fighter, had an amazing chance to beat Islam, So it's kind of like up and down, but that's how the business is. It's crazy,
Okay, so could you take us back to the beginning? Like when, I guess, was there first a real worry that Arman might not be able to make it to the fight?
Well, we have to go back a little bit. Like last Tuesday, he had the last sparring session, and he tweaked his back a little bit. It was not too bad, and we thought there's going to be, just the end of the camp, the body's feeling it. And then he took a few days off, and he was fine. And then we started fight week. Everything was going great. The spasm, the pain was there, but he was, powering through it. He never thought about not fighting. Never. He did so much for this camp. He brought so many people to help. He's in LA, which is the second home for the Armenians. So he was never, in his mind, thinking about. But then Wednesday night, after the last training, he was really complaining a little more. And this guy doesn't complain. He's not a guy that keeps complaining about every single pain in his body. He never does. So when he did complain on Wednesday night, we had to listen to him. His weight was he's going down a little bit. He was really good on weight. So that's one of the reasons that this back pain aroused, because the weight was going down, And then Thursday, we went to the press conference, and after the press conference, he had to go to see a doctor, and still wanted to fight, to power through it. We started the weight cut, and then a few sessions in on the weight cut, he couldn't do it anymore, and that's pretty much when Hunter and Dr. D, had to come into the house and actually talk about it. And then, unfortunately, he made the decision that, it was wise not to fight because he couldn't even stand. He couldn't even sit up. He had to be laying on the bed, so.
Do they know what the exact injury is at this point?
I don't know. They don't know. We'll still figure it out. We still have to know how deep those spasms are, how complicated this injury is. We still don't know anything. It's too soon.
And I guess you kind of gave some insight on his emotions then, but what's it been like, I guess, from this morning when they announced the fight was officially off up until maybe the last time you spoke with him?
He was, obviously he was really, down and devastated, but he understands that he's still young in the sport, still young in life. He still have a lot of, he's gonna have a lot of opportunities, to fight for titles again and again and again, and his health is more important than anything, So obviously, no one liked it. No one involved in the camp liked it. Everybody was really upset, but I think he should be fine in, a few weeks, and then we're gonna sit down and talk and see what's the next move.
And I guess, is there anything that's kind of being talked about with this situation? You see, I'm sure the stuff online, people saying, his weight was too high anyways, and he wouldn't be able to make it. Just anything that you've seen out there that you feel is inaccurate that you maybe want to put to rest?
I mean, I haven't seen those accusations, but that picture that people are talking about, that picture, I yelled at him because he was too light. And on that picture, he was 174. Already too light for the week before, so how pictures are, people went crazy with that picture, and it's not true at all. His weight was fine, his weight was actually ahead of schedule coming in here, ahead of schedule for all other fights that have been together, this is number 11th fight together, me and him. So he was always very good on weight, and this one, he was ahead of schedule, so like, That's not true. That's not true at all. You know.
And just last thing before we shift to, I guess, the positive side of this, you said, you spoke to Hunter and all that. You saw Dana White's video, and, you always listen to the way Dana words things carefully, and you kind of said, like, Arman felt he couldn't fight, like, as opposed to, we ruled him out or something. What is your sense of, like, how the UFC feels about this? Do you think they just understand stuff happens and he'll probably fight for the belt when he's ready to go? Is there some anger? What did you get as your sense?
I mean, I haven't spoke to Hunter and Dana today about that. I think this is something that Arman and Arman's manager, has to, address. I don't think the vibe that I got is not that they got pissed off at all, especially because I'm presenting another guy to save the day, So towards me, obviously nothing happened, and towards American Top Team, obviously nothing happened. But I don't see this being a big deal as far as them like being mad at Arman or something worse happening.